2024 has officially come to an end, and I cannot help but feel like nothing memorable has happened this year. On paper, it sounded like an amazing year. I graduated, I traveled, but for some reason, these moments haven't etched into my core memories. They're just there. But what does creating a core memory mean? Maybe creating core memories is some kind of defense mechanism our brain uses to build our personality or to make sure we remember the lessons our experiences teach us. Like, I bet things that have happened in the past and remain stapled there have probably happened for a reason, to allow me to learn something from them. But lately, even when I have moments like these, moments that could teach me something, I forget them relatively quickly. I mean, I guess it's because I don't give myself time to introspect anymore. Back then, my brain had no choice but to entertain itself, and that's why it introspected. I don't think it's because this year lacked opportunities or meaning. If anything, I think I've become disconnected from myself. I've stopped allowing myself to truly feel the depth of the moments, to live them and reflect upon them. I think to get to that place where I actively learn from my experiences, I need to start introspecting again, which is why I'm making this video. To learn like that again, I'm gonna start forcing myself to introspect more. Just write something down every single day, whether it's something on my mind or something I learned or noticed, a thought. Episode 1, Entitlement. Something I feared for quite some time was silence. But not for the reasons you might think. It wasn't that I was uncomfortable in it because I didn't like the awkwardness of sitting with me. Actually, I liked it. Maybe a little too much. It gave me the space to reflect on my encounters and think about what I could do better. But here's the thing. I wasn't afraid of silence itself. I was afraid of my thoughts. Let me explain. Every time I sat in silence just to take a break from the constant noise, I had to break the ice with myself. Somehow had to start a conversation. And once that icebreaker was out of the way, the dialogue with my mind would really start flowing. A typical icebreaker with myself follows a simple pattern. The classic so, a feeling, and an event, arranged in this order. Let me give you an example. So, that ice skating event really made me feel happy. See, so, followed by an event, followed by a feeling. Now, this was simple, direct, it worked for me. But here's where things go south. My mind, given its freedom to fill in the blanks with anything, almost always attaches a negative emotion to the situation. Take these for example. So that game of basketball I played with that group of guys really made me feel lonely. Why don't I have that kind of group? Or, so that conversation I had just ended in embarrassment. Or even, so that expensive yet cheap cookie I ate reminded me of how capitalistic this world is. It's like my brain has a talent for turning every situation into something bleak or self-pity. And if I'm being honest, I could keep going. Now let me ask you a question. What do you call a person who's a know-it-all, who thinks they're inherently better, smarter, or more talented than others, and think they deserve recognition, success, or privilege without putting in the effort? Yep. Entitled. They assume their uniqueness exempts them from struggles or consequences. You see it everywhere with self-help phrases like love yourself for who you are or be confident in yourself. But unless you've earned a reason to feel good about yourself, you're just feeding yourself empty affirmations. So why am I talking about entitlement? Because, well, I am an entitled shithead. Oh wait, how? I don't think I'm a know-it-all. I'm not cocky. I don't walk around thinking I deserve greatness because I'm special. And why do I say that I'm entitled? This is something that hadn't come across my mind before. This is the only definition of entitlement I had. But lately, I've seen that entitlement doesn't only have one face, the classic side of it, but it also has a quieter, sneakier version. Now imagine someone who thinks they know nothing, who feel as if they're unworthy of respect. Basically the opposite of the conventional definition of entitlement. They put whatever problem they have at a pedestal, thinking that no one can understand what they're going through, that it is an eternal, unsolvable problem. Their self-esteem is so low that whatever happens, they put the blame on the situation, taking no accountability. Now, if you think about it, this makes the person as entitled, if not more, than the opposite. Thinking that your problems are special and you have unique shit to deal with is as good as thinking that you are some exceptionally gifted grandmaster who can do anything and everything. Both are rooted in selfishness. Both put you at the center of the universe. But more recently, like the past week, after finally accepting that I was an entitled shithead, I had to grow from it. I've not stopped letting myself feel bad about things because you can't just feel good about everything, but I've started to look at everything through a second eye. At first glance, I still put a negative twist on it. It's almost instinctive, but the next I analyze what actually happened and whether it really deserves a spot on my ever-growing list of lousy situations. And I can start to see that I feel better in my day-to-day interactions with myself. They do feel lighter and, well, I guess less entitled.